Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're having a great weekend so far, and welcome to this new video on Ethereum. We're going to do a full update. You see this big red doom candle right here on Ethereum. We'll talk about that. All right. Now there is already some sort of a market-wide pullback going on right now, as you can see, which is mainly fueled by, I think, it's a mix of, Bitcoin dominance just in general being at a great support level, right? So in general, it's quite logical that Bitcoin would outperform altcoins, and Bitcoin in this point of time is pulling back. So then altcoins are performing even worse and are pulling back even more. Okay. And I think there's fundamental reasons for a bit of a move from altcoins and Ethereum, which is generally seen as riskier than Bitcoin, back into Bitcoin, right? That move. And I think that has to do with a couple of things. First of all, Tuesday, so we're diving right into this analysis. Hopefully you don't mind, but Tuesday we have some major data. We have CPI and inflation rate data. And at this point of time, if you take a look at the expectation for the interest rate cuts in 2025, I think the highest probability for December is right now that we're going to get 3 rate cuts, which is completely different from before. And, a reading from the inflation rate data like we have Tuesday could change that expectation. And that expectation is going to change our thoughts on the markets, right? And our thoughts on risk on assets like Ethereum. So just because that's risky, you're going to see some de-risking before that. I think in general, especially the later part of this move that we had yesterday over the course of the day, I think there's some bearish divergences there. If you take a look at the 1 hour time frame here, there's quite a lot of bearish divergences, not only with the price and the RSI, but also with the price and the volume. There was a lot of leverage coming in. We left a lot of imbalances to the downside. So that works as a bit of a technical magnet as well. So I think both technically and fundamentally, it's quite likely that we're going to pull back. But I do want to stress with Ethereum that we've had a massive breakout. And if I would have to tell you whether this is a real breakout or a fake breakout, I would say it's a real one. I think we have the fundamentals to back up finally breaking that level at 4,000, which is the main breakout that we had. And I think we had the strength as well. I mean, obviously the volume was lower than it was when we rallied all the way in July. But it's also August. I mean, you cannot expect the volume to be as high. And I think the fundamentals actually do pull a lot right here, and they weigh a lot. We got a daily breakout right here. You can see imbalances here as well. I think it's most likely because of the de-risking, not only because of the inflation rate and the CPI, but also potentially because of some other things pertaining to the Russia-Ukraine war, whatever. Maybe that's seen as risky as well. I think it's quite likely. So this is the daily time frame, right? So this is very zoomed out. I think it's quite likely that we're going to get a pullback, right? And that we're going to fill some of the imbalances. I would argue as long as we hold 3,800, so yes, we can actually fall down a lot, but as long as we hold that, right, so we also, well, maybe, I mean, we could even spike down, in my opinion. We can even spike down to 3,750 and hold that and still close above 3,850 afterwards, and we'd be fine. And I think something like that is more likely right now. The first main support is obviously at 3,950, aka 4,000. But I do think it's most likely we're going to pull back into that. We might get a bit of a bear trap, but for now, given the current fundamentals, I think it's most likely we're going to be able to hold that. And I think it's most likely we're going to get a continuation into 45 and 4,600, all right, which is my next conservative price target. But that is the next target I have. And I do expect, or at least I do think it's most likely at this point of time, unless the fundamentals change, that we will be able to rally into that. But those are my thoughts. I will keep you updated on this. For now, I think that's what you need to know. So thank you for watching. Take care and bye.